Wargaming Momentum. This is the Tactica 101, independent of the wargaming system, the mission, your army, your faction. A couple of the ideas that we're looking to leverage before we get into specific systems and missions are the fundamentals of a war game, where we have the rules, the narrative to create this somewhat opened sandbox of choices, but essentially it's you attempting to achieve something against your opponent, playing around a mission. And that mission could be something as simple as just blow everything up after 5 turns, or it could be something a little bit more complex with primary missions, secondary missions, and individual unknown victory points along the way. Previously, as in, I want to say a year ago, I pushed up to my YouTube channel here, and I know I've reflected on it over on my blog, Wargamer Fritz, this idea of an active versus passive player. Going into the mission, it's under the playlist Wargaming Tactics. Going into the mission with a plan based on your army and forcing your opponent to react to that plan. It's a little bit more complex than that, but by forcing your opponent to react to that plan, now what we get to do is they're always one step behind. They're always trying to figure out, what are you going to do? Or as you move a piece, an element, a unit, they react to it. There's massive tactical value in that. Maintaining, seizing, pushing the initiative. So let's talk about gaining momentum and physically how we shift this on the table, because you can have a plan for your army. Okay, this is going to be fire support. This unit is going to be my skirmishers. This is going to be my core going in. I'm going to break off this unit because it's fast and it's going to outflank to try to open things up or siphon off some units. But that first turn, shifting your opponent, gaining momentum, how do we do that? What are some of the ways to do that? One of the ways to do that. So you have your let's pick a gaming system here. Let's look at BattleTech, because that was the last game that I played. And again, when I say BattleTech, think of this as an example. You're going to take your own system if you play BattleTech, or if you're not familiar with it, and kind of slot into your units. So my recent BattleTech Lance consisted of a group of mechs. Think of super killy giant robots. A group of mechs that were fire support, meaning they want to stay at long range and shoot lots and lots of missiles. I had a strong central core group that is going to kind of push forward to the center of the table, and they've got a mix of long range and short range weapons, but they're very heavily armored. It's going to just dig into the center of the table there. I was going to create this threat bubble, this literal firing arc of mechs and tanks and other things, and just dig in. And then the third group was a bunch of fast-moving hover vehicles that were going to really spearhead and charge towards my opponent, hopefully turn 1, turn 2, moving directly towards them, and forcing my opponent or encouraging my opponent to castle up a little bit, stay in place, deal with fighting those. They were going to zip past. They were going to zip past my opponent's army, because if I can keep my opponent in place for a turn or two to receive these hover vehicles, these hovercraft, that would allow this core unit to dominate the center on there. Then from there, the hovers were just going to zip around and kind of do whatever. That was the game plan. Now, tactically, visually on the table, the visuals of these mechs interacting, I'm figuring out, first of all, what the army's going to do. If I move them out piece by piece, you're going to see it. You're going to know it. You're going to be able to deal with my army immediately. So if I kind of hang back with all my units and I send out these hovercraft, you're going to know, okay, the hovercraft are coming right towards me. Let's deal with them. It's also not quite as urgent. What I did instead to gain momentum, deployed in the center of the table, back in my deployment zone, on my gaming table edge. Now, of course, that's going to depend a little bit on the mission, on the system. And turn 1, there's no shooting in BattleTech. We're too far away. We were playing on a big wargaming table. Turn 2, turn 3, probably not any shooting on there, even if I managed to get into position. So this element of mechs that was fire support, my longbows and archers and missile carriers, was mixed in with my core unit of thunderbolts and warhammers, mixed in with my hover vehicles. So a giant, literally all my battle value, all 6,000 battle value mixed in together. that whole thing moves out. It's literally like Prime, let's just roll out on there. You see everything coming towards you. Everything. That creates momentum where it's like, Fritz is mobilizing. He's moving out. I need to act. I need to do something on there. That's what I want to create. That's what I want to encourage. And then, as everything moves out, the longbows and archers and missile carriers kind of pause or start falling back into their position to get ready when we are going to shoot. The hovers start moving a little bit faster, the skimmers. The core, everything falls into place at that point. What I'm saying kind of breaks off or slows down or speeds up as we move into turn 3 and 4 and now, medium range engagement. So hopefully what I can do also with that, with the momentum, when you apply momentum and pressure to your opponent on the table, you force them to reveal their plans. You force them to adapt and to kind of tip their hand where it's like, well, this unit here, this is what I was thinking about doing with it. This unit over there, I was going to kind of lure you in or not tap them or not utilize them. Now I am. It creates this sense of urgency. So immediately, turn 1, there is some truth to the momentum that whoever blinks first loses. In Wargaming, you want to create, mobilize, and utilize massive momentum.